will be passing his new hotel, which was I believe his first stop when he arrived in Washington yesterday.
We're talking about the limo. It's called the Beast because it's so heavy, and when presidents fly overseas, they have to take the Beast with them. There's a cargo plane that literally flies the motor.
Arrived in Washington yesterday.
We're talking about the limo. It's called the Beast because it's so heavy, and when presidents fly overseas, they have to take the Beast with them. There's a cargo plane that literally flies the motorcade to
Washington yesterday.
We're talking about the limo. It's called the Beast because it's so heavy, and when presidents fly overseas, they have to take the Beast with them. There's a cargo plane that literally flies the motorcade to any foreign country, but the limo. It's called the Beast because it's so heavy, and when presidents fly overseas, they have to take the Beast with them. There's a cargo plane that literally flies the motorcade to any foreign country, but yeah, they are.
I had a chance to step inside the one that preceded this one.
Yeah.
When that door closes, it's just deep, and you feel like you're in a steel chamber.
Yeah.
So Michael, they don't go down.
Tamron Hall is right by the Trump Hotel. Tamron?
Hey there, we are right by the Trump Hotel. Within a few minutes here, we should see what you were referring to as the Beast carrying.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 7. It says this: And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath 7 heads and 10 horns. Kan shalom, first foremost. Ka halalia la Yahweh, Bahashem Hawashai, Waharu Kakodash. Second, let the elders that rule and connect with the Deborah honors, spirit of the labor in one doctrine, which of the apostles and the elders of Green Muslim GMS. Third, say peace and salutation to all you Akims, the Hawaz and Barbads, continue to push this truth and sincerity. The favor name of Yahweh, Shmi Yashai, Bashim Kakodash. My name is Al Gabagam from GMS Toronto. Beginning with another presentation. And this is gonna be a continuation. So since my last page got shut down, my main page, which is GMS Rocktail Flame. So I'm gonna be doing videos on this backup page, which is a GMS Rocktail Flame bar, right? So going right into it, as you can see from the video that I played at the beginning, that goes into the shows how like the motorcade of the president is actually known as the Beast, right? And actually, that's very symbolic to the to the scriptures, especially going into the book of Revelation, chapter 17, where it mentions the Beast. So this is gonna actually go into I'm gonna go into this chapter and show you how like the motorcade, like the president's car, which is known as a Beast, it's actually is synonymous with the Beast in the scriptures. You see, so let's go from the top. So this is the book of Revelation chapter 17 verse 1. It says this. It says and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon the many waters. And who's a great whore? That's talking about America, Babylon the Great. And the great whore, America is known as a whore because as in she has or it has like a military all over the place. Like in any other country, America wants to export its like its philosophies, its way of life to every other nation. They want to basically be known by other nations. And when you go to that word knowing, when you know somebody, especially like when you know a woman, that means like actually sleep with her. See, so America is well known across the board. That makes her the great whore. And because when it says upon many waters, that's because America is like on every seashore, on every on every like a shoreline, on every coast of the earth. Whenever there's a coast, that does business, America is there first. You see, next verse it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of fornication. Let's go into our philosophies, our ways of life, whether it be democracy, whether it be Christianity, whether it be Islam, because it is, even Islam is actually a branch of of the Catholic Church, which goes back to Christianity. So it's all part of the as in the beast system, right? So that goes into the wine of America, of the wine of the great whore. You see, so like the democracy, like religion, as in like the education, like primary, secondary, as in university, right? Even like as in all these philosophies, like like feminism, things like as in the man and woman are equal, all these things, are part of a fornication, of a form of fornication. You see, so the next verse. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So now this goes into the beast. Now, as it is, we already know that the beast, that this refers to NATO and the EU. See, so NATO, because NATO is actually, NATO is is a power structure, or the military structure of that gives America its power, or the Western world their power, because of the NATO. Because NATO has been going has like all the nations like America, Great Britain, I believe also the EU, all the European nations, even Australia. So all these are part of NATO, even Canada. You see, the part of the NATO that supplies its might, its military to the beast, and gives it its power. So it says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon this colored beast. And that word colored, that means red. In America, America is known for its bloodshed. America has more blood on its hands than any other nation. So that's why it's said the scarlet, because the blood of America, the blood that America has shed over the years, whether it be like the First World War, the Second World War, and even all these proxy wars, going into into the birth of America, right? Like America was established in blood, and even through all its reign, it has reigned in bloodshed. So that's why it says scarlet, which is red. It says, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Kind of 7 heads, those goes into as in when Rome got split and divided into 7 nations, which I can show you right now. I could name them for you. There will be it's like a minute. Those nations will be known as let me see here. Okay, so those nations would be, it's like, yeah. Spare me a minute. Yeah, so there will be these nations right here as Greek, ancient Greek. It's like, yeah, it's not really showing up. Let's pull it up here. Beautiful. Thanks, baby. Yeah, so those nations will be known as the ancient Greeks, British, Germania Minor, Spanish, the French, the Romans, Germania Major, and the yeah. So those are the 7 nations. Slovakia. Once again, so that would be Germania Major, Romans, the French, the Spanish, the Germania Minor, British, and the Greeks. See, so those are the 7 nations mentioned, in the third verse. Then when it goes into 10 horns, that's when like when as in the when the EU came into power, so the EU broke off from the seven horns, right? And then it made all the nations that make up the seven countries in the European Union. See, so going ahead, it says verse 4. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abominations of the filthiness of the fornications. See, and that goes into how America, America, is seen as that country, of milk and honey, a country where there's opportunity, a country, where there's like where there is there's like all these, all these where you can be anybody that you want, you can do anything that you want, where there's freedom, there's actually, there is there's liberty. You see, like all these things that people, want to have, they're all embodied in America. So that's why America is known as that great melting pot, right? But the thing is, like, these are all, just like lies, to draw the people in, to show them, to have the people come en masse into the country, so that they can actually, build up America and continue to see America, as that great superpower in the world, right? So then when it says the abomination of the filthiness of fornication, that goes into, like America's philosophies, how it promotes, like lasciviousness, it promotes lewdness, as in there's no moral order, it can be anything you want, it can become, transvestite, it can be, you can exchange your like your sexual preference, there's no, basically there's no taboos, anything that holds you back to exploring, like your wickedness. You see, verse 5, it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. You see, and that goes into, as in how America, is really, as in the epitome of wickedness in the whole earth. There's no wickedness in, every wickedness that that's ever, that's all around, it comes from America. Whether it be like things like bestiality, sleeping with animals, having your having, like your wife be able to actually divorce you and have, and have power over your children. So all these things, are the ways of America. Verse 6 says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with the great admiration. And that goes into, as in the extermination of our people, so it's so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. The ones who suffered the most under the oppression of the so-called, of America. As in going back to when America came into the new world. Like there was more than 70 million Native Americans lives that were lost, and then it brought in the slaves, so-called Negroes, and they were killed en masse. They were killed in, like, whether as they were coming over to America or on the ships. They died in great numbers. And they even died once they got to America, right? Even the so-called Mexicans, as in they had to, as in fight to death, to protect their lands, to protect their culture, but they all ended up being given to the beast. You see, 7th verse says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and for the beast that carrieth her, which the 7 heads and 10 horns can. And that goes going back into, as in the motorcade of the president, or the main car that he actually takes. As the video says, actually this is the same car that it takes, or that he rides in every country that he goes to visit. The president of America does not ride in any other car. When he does his foreign affairs, as in his foreign affairs issues, he always rides in the car that's known as the beast. So, what's the video?
The president-elect and President Obama, the next route back from the Capitol. Donald Trump will be the 45th president of the United States, with his hotel perhaps being the first time that the president steps out to greet some of the people who are just to my left, who've strategically placed themselves in front of Trump Hotel, formerly the main post office for Washington, D.C. I'm now hearing cheers here. So as the motorcade passes with the president-elect, his family, the soon-to-be First Lady as well. We see Dr. Jill Biden there, and there is Melania Trump with First Lady Michelle Obama, and you see there Mike Pence. I'm trying to step out of the way so you can see more here, and there you have it. The president-elect and the current president headed now to our nation's capital.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking in.
Okay, so there you have it. The motorcade is known as a beast. Let's read it once again. This Revelation 17 verse 7 says, "And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, and the beast that carrieth her, which the beast is the motorcade, right? Also known as net on the EU, says, and which hath 7 heads and 10 horns." Okay, next verse, it says, verse 8, "And the beast that thou sawest was the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is." Because this is twofold. This is twofold. It goes into going back to how the beast was originally the Roman Empire. That came against that came against Yahushua when he was born. The beast was actually trying to come against the Messiah and actually kill him. And that's why the birth of the Messiah, there was there's a great slaughter of the first male born babies. They're trying to get the Messiah, but the Messiah escaped in Egypt. Right? That was the beast back then, and the beast now is known as the NATO and the EU, right? So this is the beast that was and is not and yet is. So going back to the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire, it actually fell. It was destroyed. When Jake came into power. Going back to the 13, I believe was 70 AD. When ancient Roman was destroyed, and then Jake came into power a few years later, and then after 1,000 years, then they came back into power under what is known as the Renaissance, right? Back in the time of Alexander the Great, or the freak, when they came into power at that time. So that's the beast that was and is not and yet is. So it is here now as net on the EU. It says next verse, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And those mountains, that's not little, but the mountains actually refers to as governments. Going back to the 7 nations that I mentioned earlier. And it says, verse 10, "And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue for a short space." Verse 11, "And the beast that was and is not, and even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition." And that word perdition, which is like the last beast that's going to go into perdition, that's America or Babylon the Great. Now when America gets destroyed by thermonuclear destruction, that's when it's going to be wiped off the face of the earth. You see, and it'll be known as the beast that is, and the beast that is not. You see, but that's going to come by way of the third world war destruction. When the nations shoot the nukes to America, and also when Yahushua comes back and destroys this place. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." Right? So when America came into power, it basically it upheld in that white supremacy. That's why you have America and Europe in power together, right? So that's how it was able to behold the other kings. In verse 13 it says, "These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." You see, so NATO and the EU, which it's a shared power structure between the NATO nations and the EU nations. It says verse 14, They shall make war with the Lamb, The Lamb shall overcome them, and for he is Lord Yahushua of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So the time when comes when Yahushua comes back to save the nation of Israel, the elect of Israel, that is the elect of Israel. When the time comes, these nations are actually gonna, like with this with the so-called space force, and the military structure in the skies, they're gonna try or they're gonna attempt to come against Yahushua, but Yahushua is gonna destroy them, without the hand. As it says, you see, it says, verse 15, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples, and the multitudes, and nations, and tongues. So that goes into the waters, which is like the other nations. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall head the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat the flesh and burn her with fire. So one of the nations, see America, as a downfall, as it is right now, and America is really, America is not really, it has served its purpose. It's not really needed anymore. So now they're trying to go into the New World Order, and so for them to come up with the New World Order, they have to actually destroy the old world, or the old world, which is America. So these are the nations, including the EU and the NATO. They're going to come against America and destroy America, so that they can usher in the New World Order, which will bring about the Third World War. So it says, read again. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, this shall head the whore, America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. You see? So verse 17 says, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to glorify, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Since America has been in power all this time, until all the prophecies have been fulfilled, which we are coming to that point. The only prophecy that is left to be fulfilled, is the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. Once again, the mark of the beast is the RFID chip. It's not no embargo. It's not sin. It's not having sex with a so-called white woman. Okay, the mark of the beast is the RFID chip. Don't let anybody lie to you. Okay, so it says, next verse, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. We are to America. You see? So that's that. Now let me actually get this other precept. In the book of Ezekiel 24. It's like here. Yeah, it's like here. That's it. 38 verse. What's the verse? 38. 28. Let me end up with this precept right here. Ezekiel 38. 34 and verse 28 says this. So this is Ezekiel 34 verse 28. It says, and they shall no more be prey to the heathen, neither shall the beast of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely. They shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. So the beast, and once the Yahushua comes in, and redeem us from this wicked kingdom, the beast won't have any power over us anymore. You see, so that's what we're waiting for. That's what we're pushing for. This is the year of the hastening of the Lord, of the coming of the Lord Yahushua. So that's what we're looking forward to. For us to be saved from this beast, which has been devouring us and has been destroying us for all this time. You see, so with that, I'm going to end it there. Hope this was edifying to your elect. I say, Ka Halaliam La Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Wahar Kakodash. Second, let the elders that rule kind of the neighbor honors, place the labor in one doctrine, which is the apostle and elders of GMS, Green Wisdom. So I want to say peace and salutation to all the Akim Towers and Marvel that continue to push this to sincerity. If you them Yahweh Hashim Yahshai Bashim Kakodash. I'm Zagabaga, Mr. Toronto. Till next time, Lord wills, I'll say shalom to the elect. Shalom.